And for the third and final time, we are trying to get this sprint race at Ricard going, and we are off here at Ricard. Not such a great start from Artemis here. Kimi is fully down the inside of Marco, as Artemis goes really good. Marco and Kimi are off together with Tonen, I believe, into turn 1. We now have Hush from Timu Noah, who Hush made a mistake there. And Kmoy and Ben are side by side as Marco and Artemis came together again after the chicane. I saw some cutting there. Let's see if some people will do anything about that, but that's the wrong layout for Artemis and Marco there. They took the wrong layout, as here Ben P3 behind his two drivers, Noah and Kmoy. What will they do? Obviously Kmoy has the chance to win the title next race, not the French GP this weekend, as Ben is almost down the inside of Kmoy but backs out, which gives Kmoy an advantage as Noah is slow through the second apex. As we are at over halfway race distance, Ben cuts inside of Kmoy down there. Kmoy gets a little of curb, Ben gets a little bit of curb the corner before that. This will be a Renault versus Midnight Racing Renault versus Midnight Racing Renault versus Team Boss of Midnight Racing Renault onto the final lap of this sprint race here. As Kmoy absolutely senses, pushes his teammate off. We know he has the ability to wheel wing. Hush behind them, then Artemis and Kimi, two more teammates for RK Racing, BMW RK. Marco behind them, who obviously crashed on lap 1. Kmoy now through the final sector. Noah cuts in really tight, probably loses something on the exit there. As we now cut to the start-finish camera. Across the line goes Kmoy, ahead of Noah, his teammate, and then Ben. And in the background, long gap behind them is Hush, ahead of Kimi and Artemis, ahead of Tonen, and then Kimi, then Artemis, and in last place Marco, who was taken out into turn 1. In all of the carnage, he comes across the start-finish straight right now to claim last position in this race. So the championship leader extends his lead with a sprint win, and then Cubson has been qualified as a DNS because he has actually participated in the upcoming race, which we'll look at right now. And it's almost time to go at France, and we go off. Marco has the worst start imaginable. Hash is ahead of Kimi, of Cub. Cub had a good start from P5. There we saw Artemis once again fucking up the layout, and Noah gets pushed into turn 1 by Tonen, and he pushes Cubson into the wall. We are obviously following Cubson as the broadcast POV has not been landing at the studio right now. We have lost connection, only Cubson's car has some connection, so we will just give some reports of Cubson's POV. As Hush has had a collision up ahead, together with Marco it seems, and Artemis, and Ben is involved, and Marco cuts across Cub, and that has to be a safety car or even a red flag maybe, because of the amount of carnage that is on track as of right now. On to the next lap, we can see Kmoy, Noah, and I believe Tonen, as that is a spin from Hush and Artemis as well. They collided, I believe, or it was just a dual spin. It looked like a collision at least. Cub has almost mastered that, comes a bit wide, loses some speed onto the next straight at the exit. Here, this corner you can brake really late. He brakes a bit too late though. You can brake too late in that corner, as well as Cubson just showed off. No safety cars as of just yet, but the carnage is absolutely tremendous. As the leaders are Noah, then Kimi, then Kmoy, then Tonen, and then Cubson. Behind Cub are Hash and Marco and Artemis and Ben to round out the entire grid. And there has been thrown a red flag for the carnage in the first few laps. So we are gonna see Cubson returning to pits, obviously pushing. That's a little bit too much of pushing, but we are coming in anyways. Although he was on the curbstone, which is allowed here. He's pushing to try and find the limit for the restart, as he brakes a little late. Everybody overshot. But we are now continuing with the race. And We go green for the second time this race and for the 5th time overall this weekend. Cub has an amazing start compared to Tonin. And oh, that's Hush. Hush just didn't break and he takes out Tonin and he hits Kmoy wide. That has to be a penalty for sure. Speaking about Kmoy, he gets spun around and that's Hush having an amazing flight. And that has to be another safety car. Cub lets Kmoy by for the incident, which is gentleman driving from the Polishman. I'm stuck. No freaking shit, you're stuck. Noah from Kimi, from Kmoy, from Cub. Behind Cub are, I believe it's Ben. And behind him is the Carnage, so the top 5, and then we have the Carnage makers and Tonin. Kmoy runs wide into turn number 1. Cub can't get the better exit though. Noah in first still. Cub once again overshoots that corner. It's uphill braking and steering, which makes it one of the most technical corners on the Dutch Formula 3 calendar. Cub brakes on the curb, gets stuck on the curb, gets sucked wide. It's a mistake you can make really easily. I myself make those mistakes a lot, but you can see how you would change that. That is track limits, I believe. Didn't really look at the tires because I didn't even think that he would go off there. Brakes a little late. That's a nice corner. Here, full curb. You want the curb underneath the car, completely down there. Gets sucked in. Here, brake as late as possible, but he drifted as it once again is that uphill braking and steering angle, which is so difficult to do and to master even harder. As he is getting gapped by Kmoy up ahead, but not by a large margin. I believe the number 1 and number 2 are fighting together, and that will cost them a lot of time up front. As Noah and Kimi are fighting heavily, Kmoy is almost into the fight right now. Cub is closing up right now. Kmoy has found his go at the train. He has joined the train for P1. The battle has begun for the Midnight Racings and one of the BMWs. He has outperformed all of his teammates, Shaik and Artemis, thus far this season. Kimi Räikkönen has some engine issues though, but his engine won't be changed by the DF3 officials. He has announced his retirement midway through the season because of this, and Noah is off. He has been forced off, spun off, I don't know, I did not see it. But Kmoy is off as well. Nope, that was just a visual glitch from the camera. As Cub makes a mistake and Noah's through there as he once again got high onto the apex. That's wide from Noah, spins it half, gets track limits, takes Cub wide. That's a bit of an unsafe rejoin, I'd say. As Cub goes for the better exit. Nope, he just takes too much curb and that's fucked. As we are now moving on to the final stages of the race. Maybe we have even finished, as the connection has been pretty shit all of this weekend long. So I do not know whether or not we are on the final lap right now. We could be. As Kimi and Kmoy are still fighting. Kimi, Kmoy, Noah, Cub is still the order, and then you have the rest who are struggling behind. These are the top 4 on the track and possibly in the championship. They fought all year really harsh, especially the 2 Renaults and Cubson, but don't underestimate the power of Kimi, who just went off. And he has lost the lead to Kmoy. Kimi brakes a bit hard there. Cub, oh, that's a little cut, but he gives back the time, so no penalty there for sure. I'm sure the stewards will look at that and are like, okay, Cub takes way too much curb in the last corner, and that's finish of the race, guys. Finish of the race. So it's the 2 Renaults, Kmoy followed by Noah, then Kimi Räikkönen to round off the podium in Paul Ricard. And then Cubson, Ben, Tonin, who was involved in the Hash incident on the restart. Then Artemis, Marco and Hush, who got disqualified for not finding the brake pedal in the car. Well, thanks for this race, for tuning in. And we are going to move on to the rest of the triple header, which will be posted in a few days' time or maybe even tomorrow. Thanks for watching, guys.